This Could Be a Cult is critical commentary, cultural criticism, opinion, and satire. The subject of this episode is a structure, the parasocial economy, and the incentives that shape it, not any specific platform, company, creator, or individual. No real person, brand, or business is the subject of this episode, and any resemblance to one is incidental to the pattern being described. Figures, ranges, and descriptions cited here, including advertising revenue estimates and characterizations of how attention and grief are processed, are offered as general illustration in service of an argument, not as statements of fact about any particular company or person, and not as financial, medical, psychological, or legal advice. Nothing in this episode is a recommendation to take or avoid any financial or personal action. This episode discusses grief and the real emotional cost of losing a parasocial connection. If any of it lands close to something you're carrying, that feeling is valid, and you don't have to sit with it alone. Support resources are linked in the show notes. Somewhere, right now, there is a room full of people whose job is you. Well, not you specifically, just your category. You know, the people who follow a certain kind of creator, engage with a certain kind of content, open a certain kind of email, click through at a certain rate. They know what time of day you are most susceptible. They know what emotional state precedes a purchase. They know which words in a subject line make you open it and which words make you delete it without reading. They know this because you told them. Every time you clicked, every time you shared, every time you watch something to the end. You did not get paid for this information. You did not sign a contract. You did not receive an invoice for the data you generated, or the emotional labor you performed, or the attention you gave over months and years to people and brands and creators who were somewhere in the background, turning that attention into money. And here is the part that should bother you more than it does. You are good at this job. You are the best unpaid employee any platform has ever had. You show up daily, you never call in sick, you produce clean, structured, beautifully labeled data about your own desires, and you hand it over with a smile. Because the interface is pleasant, and the lighting is good, and the person on the other side of the glass feels like a friend. No employer in history has ever gotten labor this reliable for this little. The minimum wage for being the product is $0, and you have been working overtime. And yes, before you get comfortable, that includes this show, and this voice in your ear that you have decided somewhere in the back of your skull that you sort of kind of know. I am a creator talking to an audience through a platform that measures every engagement that you have with me. I am not standing outside the thing that I am about to describe because nobody is. And this is what exactly makes it a structure and not a scandal. Welcome to the Deep Dive. I'm April Rain. On the main feed this week, we talked about how the parasocial bond feels, illustrated through the wellness industrial complex, and what it does to your head, and why your nervous system treats a stranger's voice like a person who loves you. This is the deep dive. So we're not doing feelings, we're doing money. We're going to follow it all the way down because the feeling has a price. And somebody set that price. And it was not you. So let's start with the number, because the number is the most clarifying thing in this entire conversation. The average person's attention, measured as annual advertising revenue generated across multiple major platforms, is worth somewhere between $40 and $200 a year, depending on the platform. That is what the market has decided that your eyeballs are worth. And this is what advertisers pay to reach them. This is the price of you. Sit with how strange that range is for just a minute. $40 to $200 a year. Not for what you buy, but for the privilege of being shown things. A magazine used to charge you for the content and then sell your attention to the advertisers on the back end. and at least you knew you were holding a magazine. The modern version deleted the cover price and kept the back end. The content is free because you were never the reader. You were the inventory. The price is calculated from your engagement data. What you watch, for how long, what you click, what you buy after clicking, and how you move between platforms, also what you share. Every interaction is a data point, and every data point refines the model. The model is then sold to advertisers who use it to place their messages at exact moments that you are the most receptive to them. You are not the customer. You are the product being sold to the customer. This is not a metaphor. This is the documented business model of essentially every major attention platform currently operating. So, walk the assembly line with me, because this is where it stops being a slogan. Step 1, you do something. A tap, a pause, a rewatch, a 3-second hover before you scroll past. Step 2, that action becomes a row in a table attached to a profile that is technically not your name, but is unmistakably you. Step 3, enough rows become a model, a working prediction of what you'll want, when you want it, and what mood you'll be in when you are at your weakest to ask. Step 4, that prediction gets auctioned in real time, in the fraction of a second it takes for a page to load, to whoever will pay the most to reach that version of you who will most likely say yes. You're not bidding in that auction, by the way. You are the lot being sold. The parasocial relationship is not incidental to this business model. It is actually central to it. A user who feels a genuine emotional connection to a creator, who looks forward to their content, who feels known by them, and who would notice and feel something if they vanished, well, that is a user who returns reliably, engages consistently, and generates predictable revenue. The emotional bond is the retention mechanism. The intimacy is the product feature. The parasocial relationship is not a side effect of the platform. It is what the platform was optimized to produce. The bond is not a bug in the ad model. It is actually a premium tier. If you've listened to this show for more than a week, you know we run everything through the same 5 levers. A claim of exceptionalism, language that quietly closes the door on questions, manufactured intimacy, and exit costs that arrive long after you stopped paying attention to the entry. Underneath all of it is a real need that the whole machine is built on top of. And on the main feed, we ask what those levers do to a person. Down here, we ask what each one is worth on a spreadsheet, because every single one has a line item. And dragging those line items into the light is the entire reason that this deep dive exists. The manufactured intimacy that powers the parasocial economy is not produced by accident, and it is not produced by creators alone. There is an entire professional infrastructure dedicated to its construction, optimization, and monetization. At the management level, talent managers and agents who advise creators on the specific practices that build parasocial attachment, the vulnerability disclosure, the behind-the-scenes access, and the maintenance content that keeps the audience feeling close during those stretches where there is nothing else to sell. This advice is not given in the language of manipulation. It is given in the language of authenticity. Be real with your audience. Let them in and show them the person behind the brand. The advice is sincere, and it produces manufactured intimacy. And those two things are not mutually exclusive. At the platform level, recommendation systems have learned through billions of interactions that parasocial content, the confessional, the personal, the directed daily, holds viewers longer than anything else. The algorithm rewards intimacy with distribution. Creators who build parasocial relationships get shown to more people, and creators who don't, they get quietly demoted. Nobody instructed the algorithm to manufacture closeness. It simply discovered that closeness wins, and it optimized accordingly. At the brand partnership level, a multi-billion-dollar industry that evaluates creators not on the size of their audience, but on the depth of the parasocial bond. An audience of 50,000 highly attached followers is worth more to a brand than 500,000 casual ones, because the attached followers trust the creator's recommendations. They buy what the creator buys, they go where the creator goes. The bond is the conversion mechanism, and brands pay a premium for it. And underneath all of them, the layer nobody pictures, the dashboards. There is now an entire business-to-business industry whose only product is the measurement of intimacy. Software that scores how attached an audience is, tools that put a number on a feeling and sell that number to the people deciding what to make next. Engagement rate, sentiment, save ratio, watch through. The warmth you feel towards someone you have never met has been instrumented, graphed, and benchmarked against last quarter. And here is the quiet trick. Once a feeling has a metric, the metric becomes the thing everybody optimizes, and the language closes around it. Nobody in that meeting is asking whether the audience is being served. They are asking whether the numbers went up. The numbers went up is what served means now. That is the second lever, language that forecloses the question, with a price tag attached. The intimacy industrial complex does not require a conspiracy. It requires aligned incentives. Every participant, the creator, the manager, the platform, the brand, the analytics vendor, benefits from deeper attachment. The only participant whose interest is not served by ever-deepening attachment is you. And you are the one experiencing the attachment. Now, let's talk about the staircase, because attention by itself is cheap, and everyone in this business knows it. $40 a year is the floor. The money is in the climb. The entire apparatus is built to walk you up a ladder, one rung at a time, where every rung asks slightly more of you than the last one did. And it feels slightly more like your own choice than the last one did. Rung 1, you become aware of someone. Free, ambient, you didn't really pick it. The algorithm picked it for you. Rung 2, you follow, which is a free action that costs you nothing and converts you from a stranger into an asset with a retention curve. Rung 3, you engage. You comment, you share, you defend them in somebody else's comments, and now guess what you're doing? You're doing unpaid marketing. Rung 4, you turn on notifications and you have volunteered to be interrupted. Rung 5, you spend. The merch, the small monthly tier, the thing that quietly turns into a feeling, into a recurring charge. Rung 6, you give directly. Through patronage, membership, money handed over, not for a product, but for a relationship itself. And rung 7, that's the very top of the staircase, where the real value lives. You defend. You take it personally when someone criticizes them, and you experience an attack on the creator as attack on yourself. Here is why the latter matters, and it's not just the price tag either. Every rung you climb raises the cost of climbing back down. The follow is free to give, and not so free to take back. But by the time you're 3 years and $400 and a piece of your own identity deep, leaving doesn't feel like unsubscribing anymore. It feels like a breakup, or a betrayal even. Or it feels like an admission that you were a sucker. And nobody wants to feel like a sucker. So you stay. And staying generates more data, more spend, and more defense on your part. The genius of the staircase is that you can always see the next rung, and you can almost never see the whole flight of stairs. You agreed to the first step, and you were never shown the actual height. The most revealing moment in the parasocial economy is not the purchase, it is the loss. When the creator goes on hiatus, when the image breaks, when the account goes dark, when the relationship ends, the response that produces in the audience tells you exactly how much it costs to build, and it tells you exactly who paid. The grief is real. This is not a metaphor, and it is not pathology. The neurological processes activated by parasocial loss are documented, and they overlap significantly with the processes activated by the loss of a real relationship. The brain does not keep a built-in distinction between parasocial and social bonds at the level of emotional processing. It registers loss. It experiences grief. It goes looking for the thing that it lost, and it finds that the thing that it lost did not know that it existed in the first place. Think about what grief actually is in labor terms, because that is the deep dive's job. A real two-way relationship distributes the work. Two people both show up, they both remember, and they both maintain it. The parasocial relationship distributes nothing. You do all of it. You keep the calendar, you hold the continuity, you remember a thing that they said in something that they posted 2 years ago that they themselves have forgotten even making. You perform the full emotional labor of a relationship for an audience of one. And the other party is not even aware that a relationship is occurring. That is not a small imbalance. That is the entire imbalance. And when it ends, you also do all of the grieving alone. For someone who cannot attend the funeral because they don't even know that there was a death. That grief is the hidden cost of the parasocial economy. It is never itemized on any invoice. It's not the concern of the platform, the brand, the manager, or in most cases, the creator. It is absorbed entirely by the person who felt the attachment. The investment, the loyalty, the active maintenance of the feeling of connection, all of that is performed by the audience. The creator receives the benefit. The audience bears the cost. The platform collects the revenue, and the terms were never disclosed. This is the fourth lever made literal. Exit costs that exceed entry awareness. You walked in for free. You read nothing because there was nothing to read. No contract, no warning, no line that said continued use may result in genuine bereavement at cost to the provider. The entry was frictionless precisely because you would never calculate the exit. And by the time that bill comes due, it isn't money, it's mourning. And mourning, conveniently, is the one thing that never shows up on anyone's quarterly report. Now, this is not an argument that creators are villains. Most creators are genuinely trying to connect with people who matter to them. This is an argument that the structure in which those genuine connections occur has been specifically designed to extract the maximum emotional and financial value from the audience while externalizing every cost. The individual creator may have the best intentions in the world, but the system, it does not have intentions. It has incentives. I want to slow down here because if all I've done is convince you that you're a mark and the feeling is fake, then I've lied to you. And lying to you would make me exactly the thing that this show exists to take apart. So here is the truest sentence in this entire episode. The need is real. Underneath every layer, every dashboard, every rung of that staircase, there is a genuine human hunger that the machine did not invent. It only found it. The economy did not create the loneliness. It simply located it. It found the precise spot where modern life stopped delivering belonging. The village that scattered, the congregation that emptied out, the third place that closed, the friendship that got too expensive in time and money to keep up. and it built a frictionless, scalable, profitable substitution and slid it neatly into that gap. This is why it works. Counterfeit intimacy does not sell to people whose intimacy needs are met. It sells to everyone else, which is currently almost everyone, by the way. The parasocial economy is not powerful because it is evil. It is powerful because it is accurate. It read the human hunger correctly, which means the thing that you feel is not a malfunction, and it is not a moral failing. It is the correct response of a social animal to a stimulus engaged to be irresistible to social animals. You are not weak for feeling it. You actually would be strange if you didn't. The problem was never that you have the need. The need is the most human thing about you. The problem is who got to monetize it, and the fact that the cheapest possible version of having that need met got to your door first. You cannot opt out of the parasocial economy entirely. The infrastructure is simply too embedded in the platforms you use, the media you consume, and in the cultural air that you actually breathe. You cannot fully sort which of your responses to a creator are spontaneous and which are optimized into existence by a system that knows your psychology better than most people in your life do. The situation does not resolve clearly because it isn't built to. What you can do is renegotiate the terms of your participation, not by going cold or disconnected, but by knowing what the transaction is. When you feel strongly about a creator or a celebrity, that feeling is real. It is also being farmed. Both things are true at once. Holding both does not cancel the feeling. It contextualizes it. You can enjoy the connection and understand the mechanism. You can feel the bond and still ask, who profits from this bond? And what am I actually getting back? The move that changes your relationship to all of this is not cynicism. Cynicism is just another way of being controlled by the things that you're reacting against. It feels like distance and functions like obsession. The move is legibility, making the transaction visible, knowing that when a creator says, I feel like I really know you guys, they say it sincerely, and they are also maintaining the attachment that generates their revenue. Knowing that when the algorithm serves you something that makes you feel seen, the algorithm has not seen you, it has categorized you. The category is not you. You are bigger than the model of you. Legibility has a few muscles, and you can train them without curdling into a cynic about it. 1. Name the rung that you're on. Just notice it. Am I aware of this person, or am I defending them in a stranger's comment section at 11 o'clock at night? Those are very different altitudes, and they cost very different amounts. 2. Do the math that you were never sent an invoice for. Actually add up that yearly amount. Not to feel bad about it, but to feel informed. A number you've never calculated has power over you precisely because it stays uncalculated. 3. When something makes you feel seen, ask that very boring follow-up question. Is this making me feel seen, or am I being sorted? Because being understood and being categorized produce almost exactly the same warmth, and only one of them is real. Spend your attention knowing what it is worth. That is not the same as refusing to spend it, by the way. It is just refusing to spend it ignorantly. So, let's talk about some of the signs that you're in this one. You have bought something primarily because a creator you trust recommended it, without clicking whether the recommendations were sponsored. You have felt genuine grief, anger, or betrayal when a parasocial relationship ended, and the other party did not even know that the relationship existed. You know what you spend on streaming, merch, or direct creator support in any given month, but you have never calculated the total for the year that you spend. You have described a creator as someone who gets you, to a person who had never even heard of them, and you found that the reason why you felt that way, the explanation that you gave, was much harder to give than you expected. You felt a flash of real anger at a stranger for criticizing someone who has never once said your name. You can recite the timeline of a creator's life more fluently than you can your best friend's. You started this episode a little defensive, and you know exactly who you got defensive on behalf of. The parasocial economy is the largest unregulated emotional labor market in human history. The workers are the audience. The wages are the feeling of connection. The owners are the platforms. And the deal was never explained to you because the deal is better for everyone else if you don't know what it is. And before you close the app feeling clean about it, you found out about this market from inside it. From a host you felt something for, on a platform that just logged that you listened all the way to the end. I am not exempt, and neither is this. The difference that I'm offering you isn't an exit, because there isn't one. My difference is the invoice, printed, finally, and handed to the person who has been paying it the whole time. Now you know what it is. I advise you to spend accordingly. I'm April Rain, and this could be a cult. You already know the rules.